In this short session, we are going to refine the themes and skins a little bit. Remember in the first session, I showed you a very rudimentary theme, which was the high contrast theme, but we're going to look at a few more. So we're going to appearance. I mean, in my favorites here, just to remind you, if you want to set something into the favorites, for example, let's say the archive manager, you right click on it and you say show in favorites. And if you want to switch to favorites from applications, you go up here and then you can switch to favorites. Oops, now it didn't work, but now it will work. Okay. And in favorites, I've put appearance because I knew I needed it. Remember we had those themes downloaded because originally there were only two. And let me remind you what the download commands were. I've talked those somewhere in documents here. Yeah, okay. Here it is. It's apt install mate-themes. So if you put that into terminal, into the command prompt of Linux, into terminal apt blank install blank mate-themes and hit enter, then you get all these themes that we have here. Okay, now let's look at the themes. I chose now switch from high contrast, which was that, to the custom theme, which is a little bit more refined, I think. And for background, as you can see, I chose my own ships here. That's a picture of my own. But what's interesting in the background pictures, last time we had this one here. Maybe you remember that, the live speech. Now I used a couple of pictures myself of my own picture file, like this one and this one, and they get included into the library. This is also one of mine. They get included into this background library, which is kind of convenient. And then you easily find them. You don't have to look for them. Okay, next let's look at the fonts. For me that's important because I can bold and the fonts and make them bigger. I use a Sans font, but you have a big selection of fonts if you prefer a different one. And I recommend bolding them because if you don't, let's take this one for example. See, they're kind of thin, and when you bold them, then they are much more readable. But again, that's your call. You bold them, I bold them, and I change the size because the original size is only 10. And change it to 14, but you may only want to change it to 12 or 13. But 10 is very little, at least for somebody who doesn't see so well like me. So here you set the in the fonts, you set your fonts, and you set them for all these areas here, for the application, for documents, desktop, window title fonts, and fixed width font, and I don't really know what that is. And by the way, there is a monospace bold here because it seems to have a different set here. But never mind, it's okay. At least it's bolded. And down here I chose best contrast, but I don't think there is too much difference between best shapes and best contrast. I chose best contrast. That's fine. Okay, now when we go back to themes, let's go and look at the skins. For skins, you go to customize, and here you have a whole set of skins. I chose mist. You can choose mint, for example, and it will be minty. Okay, green if you like green, why not? Or you can print large, which is nice. You get large print. Which corresponds a little bit to the settings I've made anyhow. Or you can choose any of the others, whatever you want. A la Delta, how's that? This isn't much different. And of course, then you always have these high contrast print inversion themes here. which you may or may not like. But they are very handy. They show, in reality, on the video from YouTube, you may not see it so crisp, but in reality, they're extremely crisp. Okay, so we go with mist. So let's close that. And that's actually all I wanted to talk about in terms of the themes and in terms of the skins, just to show you that there is a great variety of options, many more than in Windows. So that's very nice. You can customize your system the way you want. Okay, now let's close this. We close it here and